fun with the rain outside, huh?
Recording in progress.
This is the Board of Appeals convened on May 14th. We have actually 4 cases tonight on the agenda, and I think we'll go ahead and take them in the order in which they appear, because I think there are probably a number of people here who might be interested in the first case, and I don't want to make you sit all night. I think I'd like to kind of reopen the public hearing, for starters, on case 2025-20, which is a comprehensive permit application under Chapter 40B for development known as the Villas at Keenbrook. This case was opened on January 15th. The public hearing opened on the 15th of January. It was continued to March 12th and then continued again to this evening. There have been, this was all, of course, at the applicant's request to continue things. They were trying to, I think, work on some perhaps changes to their projects, which we'll hear more about this evening. But before I ask the applicant to update us, let me just sort of explain how this works. How many of you have actually been to a public hearing before of something before the Board of Appeals or the Planning Board? Okay. So the process is simply, we will first go through any correspondence that we have received from other town boards or people who are other interested parties. We will then ask the applicant to update us, present us with what they have. There are some revised plans, and I think some other matters as well. They'll update us. We will then ask questions of the applicant as board members, and when we kind of have probably asked all the questions we're going to ask, we'll then open it up for public comment. So that's our typical process, and that's the way we're going to proceed tonight. There was an unfortunate posting on Facebook today that said this was the final opportunity for people to comment on this project. That is absolutely not true. So just beware, this is not your only chance to comment.
Facebook still exists?
Facebook still exists. And every time there's something about 40B, I get a text message. Did you see someone said? So anyway, all right. So correspondence that I have.
Can I just
interject? Of course.
1 second? I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Kind of a point of order. I happened to see Mr. Itani's name on the screen. Is he with you, Bob?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Yes, there you are. So.
I'm the one that my name is Bob.
Okay, got it. So I represented your client before the Easton Zoning Board this week, and I didn't realize that this was them until I saw the faces. Yeah, so surprise.
That means you need to recuse yourself.
So I think I need to recuse myself. I apologize.
Okay.
You don't have a quorum, do we?
I'm about to figure that out. If we lose Tanya, we don't have Wayne this evening. We have me, Boris, Emmett, and Phil. So we're down to 4 people here in this case. Hopefully the chair will be able to listen to the recording and sign an affidavit and be able to be present for the next hearing. Unless you prefer.
He was present at the first.
Yes, he
the
was.
original
So
one, yeah.
I guess you have to decide, are you comfortable going forward with a panel of 4?
Yes, we would allow Wayne to vote the call.
Okay.
He's able, so.
Okay. All right. As I said, sure, that's fine.
There, yep.
There is some correspondence that we have that I want to review. Maybe I should just explain to folks what the issue is about the board members. A comprehensive permit requires a majority vote of the board to approve it. This is a board of 5, so we need at least 3. So when you get down to 4 people, it gets a little bit, sometimes I think, of concern to the applicant that perhaps there might not be enough people present. So they're willing to go ahead, that's fine. But just so you understand, it takes a vote of 3 out of 5 to approve the project. Okay. All right, correspondence. There is a May 14th email from the applicant's attorney to us about a concept plan that they believe Natural Heritage is going to approve I think what I'm going to do is just defer to you until we get to you, and you can explain the status of that plan. All right. We have, what the heck is the rest of it? Okay. We have thank you, it's fine. We have an email to us dated May 7th from Stephen Williams, the chair of the Design Review Board. Just for the record, the Design Review Board took no action last night on this case. That would have been Wednesday, May 6th. The revisions to the floor plans filed a few weeks ago seemed only a little changed from the original proposal, if at all, and did nothing to provide any of the missing pieces, so we took no action. We have an email from Pat Brennan, who is our consulting engineer. So when we get an application that involves a site plan of any kind, we refer it to Pat Brennan, a consulting engineer, for review of the site plan, stormwater, environmental issues, and so forth. So the plan was referred to him, and he's just reporting back. The information is very general, so there's not much for me to review from an engineering point of view. I discussed this with Austin and McKenzie Engineering, and he advised that they are only trying to nail down site layout and natural heritage approval prior to submitting full design plans. The attached letter outlines the information that I will need to review this project. Please let me know if you have any questions. And so he's provided a comment letter listing out all of the plan and data information he needs to review this project. And I won't read the whole thing, but just so you know, he basically is saying, I need enough engineering data to actually review this project. I don't have it right now. And then we have, I believe, a revised plan that is stamped here on May 4th, which I think is probably what you're going to be presenting tonight. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else that I have missed. Am I right?
The new plan that came in today with the email from him, which should be.
This one? This is stamped May 4th.
This one stamped May 14th.
Oh,
This big one.
sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Sure.
There's just too much paper for me to manage. Sorry. So there is a new plan dated May 14th, but you're
Yes.
going to present that anyway this evening, right? Okay. I think then we'll go ahead and hear from the applicant. And as I said, we will have questions. Amy, our town council, is here. She may have questions as well.
Good evening, everybody. Attorney Robert Galvin, representing the villas at Keenbrook. It was the last time I presented was back in mid-January. I have brought in and left with Ms. Tolan a hard copy of this presentation, so if anybody would like to have the plans, they're 11 by 17. They might be a little easier to read, and you can take them home with you if you want. So last time we were here, we introduced you to the development team, the site, the concept plan, which was 28 single-family homes on an 18.7 acre site. We told you a little bit about some other projects that we had done in other communities that we'd either completed or had under complete or under construction, and we gave you kind of the concept. What we've been working on since we last were in front of you is trying to develop a plan that meets Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program guidelines, because no matter what we do here, we always have to meet their requirements, and this property lies within the estimated a priority habitat of a rare endangered species. So the original plan that we submitted to you has been significantly revised, and I'll kind of describe it and then we'll go through on the presentation. The concept plan, which I submitted with the email yesterday, and I think it's very close to what we submitted on May 4th, is a plan that's been shared with Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program, which we call NHESP. The goal of that concept plan was to conserve as much open space on this 18-acre site as possible. And now we've reached a level where we're just under 40% of the site is being developed. We've condensed the project. The NHESP objective for the site was, for every acre that we looked to develop, they wanted 1.5 acres set aside as open space. Mm-hmm. And up along Route 3, there's a stretch behind the homes there that Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program won't even allow us to count, because it has no value to them, and it's not where you'd be able to preserve a habitat functionally, even though it's open space and it's going to be untouched. So the site is actually just hovering right around 40% or less of the entire site is going to be developed. So 60% of the site now will be developed. We believe in the next couple of weeks that we're going to have NHESP approval for that concept, and nothing is quick there, so obviously there's been a delay here with us finalizing our site plans. So if we didn't delay and we created site plans for you, we'd be asking you to approve a project that would likely change, might be a significant change, and then would have to restart a whole public hearing process. So we hope to maybe give you a brief update and not spend a lot of time tonight, but tell you where we're at. And, so the plan that we have tonight, which is in concept 2, and I don't, yes, it's there, shortens that roadway, brings the cul-de-sac down to the west, and if it's not colorized, if you see now 60% of the site is protected. And so that is consistent with what the planning board told us right from the get-go, that they wanted a reduced footprint in this development, and they actually mentioned 40%. So we're trying to create a pocket neighborhood design. It's a condominium with 28 separate units. It's a mixture of 2 and 3 bedrooms with a total bedroom count of 81 on the site. We're intending to use a shared septic system, which is consistent with the recommendations of the planning board, just makes a heck of a lot of sense for maintenance. It will be condominiums, as I indicated, with exclusive use spaces. I'm going to let the applicants show you a little bit about what they envision the units will look like. The next version of the site plan will incorporate a sidewalk and a walkway system within the site. We are hoping not to include one outside the site because it would be a sidewalk from somewhere to nowhere. The only sidewalk in the area is over the bridge on Route 3, and that's a sidewalk that connects to nothing on either end. Probably not something that anybody's looking to have. So the site now, if you look down on the lower left corner, there are some dotted lines indicating the wetlands lines that have all been confirmed by a wetland determination by the Conservation Commission. The entirety of the project and all of the homes that are in it are beyond the 100-foot buffer zone. We only have a very small portion of a site that is within the 100-foot, and it's probably landscape areas, and if we can eliminate that, we will, which will eliminate any further conservation filing. Again, the Conservation Commission was very protective of the wetland resource areas to the south and to the west, and obviously the highways to the right. So we're intending to try to keep as much of this project out of that area. We were asked by the planning board to adjust this project and keep the homes as far away from Route 3 as we can, and to the extent that we are able to do so, we're doing that, and we intend to come in with a fairly robust architectural landscape plan with extensive screening, because the people that are going to live here are going to want the noise and the sound attenuation, and we want to be consistent with what the planning board has asked us to do. If you remember our original plan, we used a lot more of the site. We had a bunch of pork chop lots. The select board, even in our original letter to Mass Housing, asked us to eliminate those. We've eliminated all the pork chop lots, and as a result, been able to condense more into the property. So with that, Rami, do you want to walk us through the presentation, or Mohammed? Either one. So.
Good evening. My name is Mohammed Itani. I'm part of the design team. What Bob said is we listened to the concerns that the town had. We actually did almost every single thing that they asked us. Before we had lots on half-acre. Planning board recommended that we go back to a pocket neighborhood. Now we at Stonebridge Homes, we've done a lot of these pocket neighborhoods, and we're very much familiar with them. We were able to and then they recommended that we go to a shared septic system to reduce the footprint of the community, which we did. This is a similar community. Houses are much closer to each other than what we're actually proposing for Keenbrook. Those houses that you see are 8 feet apart. What we're proposing is going to be twice the distance between the houses. It's fairly mostly the same designs. Rami, if you can go to the next page. So those what the houses would look like. They range in square feet between 2,500 square feet and 3,100 square feet. We incorporate in our designs a lot of farmers' porches, roof lines, gables. That makes the neighborhood very attractive. Again, Stonebridge is very active in the South Shore and the South Coast. We had multiple communities that are currently under development. So we're a very experienced developer, and we believe this project will be an added value to the town. We're proposing a couple of our units with first floor master bedroom. There seems to be a lot of demand for empty nesters to move out of their big colonials and then into smaller houses that are more accessible to as people age. So we believe this product will fit nicely in Duxbury and in that community as well. The board, yeah, I'm done.
As I said in the email yesterday, we wanted to show you the concept, we'll show you the house designs, and we are offering you an extension of an equivalent period of time, much like we did after the original presentation, so that the public will have a chance and the board will have a chance to fully vet the final project that we have. But again, we didn't want to finalize the concept plans and the site development plans until we knew we had something that we could develop with Natural Heritage's approval. So I will sign that extension whenever it's appropriate.
Do you guys have any questions?
I guess my only question is not, it may not be exactly pertinent yet, but you have a lot of designs there for different model homes, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those do you foresee? I didn't count them as they went by.
If you go up to Southfield, this community exists, and when you go to purchase a home here, you have choice. They build some on spec, but you have a choice of design.
Okay, all right. It's going to be
Housing choices
purchased or chosen.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Mohammed Itani, again, we're proposing 6 different designs, and those usually get to be built to order. And all of them, the designs, because this is a concept at this point, so all the houses that we're proposing will fit into the squares that you see on the screen.
Okay. All of the proposed designs fit into those footprints, and it will be up to the prospective buyers or to the buyers to choose which one they want.
I missed that. Could you please repeat the question?
All of the proposed designs fit into the footprint sketch on the site plan,
That's
and it's up to the buyer to choose which one of the 6 they want.
That's correct. And we customize the interior of the houses based on the customer's needs.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually build 2 or 3 models, and then the homeowners come in and they choose what design they would like to build.
Okay. Again, not exactly pertinent yet, but I was just curious when I saw them.
We expect those houses to be price-wise in the range of 1.3 to 1.5. which fits well into our community, into our surrounding area.
Thank you.
Remember, 7 of the units will be affordable to someone earning 80% of the year median income.
So when you come back, I'd like you to design this presentation so that we can see the affordable and market rate version of each house together. So we can actually compare them.
Okay? Not a problem.
Okay. Emmett or Boris, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have one question. The project mentioned that one of the properties I can see on the cul-de-sac that encroaches into the 100-foot buffer for the conservation, that's the only one that protrudes, that appears on that plan. Is there a way you can become 100% compliant and either not do the landscaping or maybe eliminate that one structure? I mean, why not be 100% compliant in the buffer if you can?
It may be possible, but right now, this is how it lays out, and it's only landscape. And it's a very de minimis, and it's outside the 75-foot buffer, so it's actually technically compliant with the local reg, but we'll make our best efforts to keep it entirely out. And if we don't have to make a filing, that's to our advantage too, so every effort will be made to do that.
Any other questions from board members?
Done.
Okay.
I have none, Emmett.
All right, thank you, Emmett.
I do have a showing of this is one of the affordable options.
Right. I just think it will be helpful to people to see them together.
We'll put them in, and,
Yeah.
they'll be dispersed throughout the
Thank you.
development too.
I do understand that, but I'd like to see the designs together.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we'll put them into the presentation.
Amy, do you have any questions that you want to pose to the
I
applicant?
did. How many, Amy Questle, Town Council, how many parking spaces will each unit have?
So all the houses come with 2-car garages, and the driveways are long enough to accommodate 2 more cars in the driveway. We're making sure that the driveways are at least 25 feet long, so that will allow 2 cars side by side, and they're 22 feet wide. And then, of course, there is some parking on the street. I guess somebody is having a party or a get-together or something.
And is the septic system under 10,000 gallons?
It is just about. And we're proposing the septic system in this location.
That's it, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So I think we'll ask interested parties here if you have questions for us. If you have a question about the project, obviously, please direct it through me. Don't direct it to the applicant. We'll direct questions to the applicant. But we're happy to take any questions or comments that you may have at this point. But just bear in mind, this plan is going to change. You're not seeing the final iteration of this, but we would very much like to hear your questions or comments. No comments?
Hearing none.
This is like the first time in my life I've done a 40B hearing where nobody had anything to say.
You've scared everyone.
No, I don't think so. Well, I'm probably going to throw my 2 cents in then. I am, as I think the applicant's counsel knows, I work with a lot of boards of appeal around the state. And I am really frustrated that this project was filed when it was so not ready to file. We had a hearing in January. There was basically nothing we could do because the project wasn't ready. We continued to March. The project wasn't ready. And, I can understand about Natural Heritage is the agency that protects wildlife. So there's a whole filing process that has to happen with Natural Heritage Program. And it can get kind of bogged down because they're trying to protect wildlife. So I understand that. But to come in here and apply for a comprehensive permit and be so not ready is really insulting to this board. So I just need to get this on the record. I'm not happy, really. You should not have done this to us or to this neighborhood. So whatever we continue to, by God, this project better be ready to hear, because I don't want to do this again. What say ye? What would you like us to do?
Can I have a minute, please?
We'd request a continuance of 60 days. So that-
What?
60 days, please, so that we don't waste another night.
So that would put us to July. So, Bob, the only thing I want you to remember is this board takes off in August.
I know you do.
Okay, all right, just,
Actually, we talked about that yesterday, so.
okay, okay.
We're prepared, so we know it'll be likely July, and then it'll be September again.
So do you want the second Thursday or the fourth Thursday in July? What's your preference? We would be meeting on the 16th and on the 30th.
It's actually the 9th and the 23rd that month.
Oh, my goodness sakes, you're absolutely right. You are so right. I can't read a calendar.
Yes, July 9th would be.
July 9th, okay,
Thank you.
all right. So we will have an appropriate extension ready for them to sign? I would really appreciate it, Patty, if you let the Design Review Board and the Affordable Housing Trust know that we would very much appreciate their presence at that meeting. I would like to ask some questions of the Housing Trust about this project. I'd like to hear what they think. I don't think this site is in the town's housing production plan, but that's not all that important. But I guess I'd like to hear the Housing Trust perspective on it. And I am concerned about the Design Review Board. I don't want them or us kind of bounced around anymore on this. So whatever it is that they need, I trust that by the time you come back, they will have had it. Okay? I guess with that, we should take a motion to continue the hearing to, we said July 9th? Yes. Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing until July 9th.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, Judy.
Aye, Phil?
Boris, are you with us?
I think he said aye. There we go. Aye, Boris.
Okay. So we won't be touching this case again until Thursday, July 9th. So you might want to just make a note of that, okay?
Thank you.
I don't want to be in that position again. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Coming back to join us. Good. Might as well put this down here. I don't need this cluttering up my desk. Or any of this.
I think this one's yours as well.
Probably, so I got the Wayne package in front of me too,
Oh,
so,
okay.
sorry.
Here, I can put it over here.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is case 2026-06. I think it's Reichman, Gurnett Road. Who's here for the applicant?
Kevin Dolan.
Yes, let me just make sure I have the appropriate materials for this case. Oh, here it is. Actually, before you go, I need to just go through the correspondence here, and so pardon me. Come on, Judy. You're fine, Judy. Thank you, Amy. Okay, we do have some correspondence on this case, so just bear with me. At a meeting of the Planning Board on April 13th, the board voted 4-0 with one abstention to recommend approval of the special permit application for 101 Gurnett Road. We have a May 4th email to us from Kevin, is it Degnan? I'm sending this note to share my support for Paul and Sandy Reichman's proposed home improvements for their house at 101 Gurnett Road. We're their next-door neighbors at 105 Gurnett. We have no issues with their plan. Given the raised seawall, many homeowners in the neighborhood are considering some changes in the Reichman's plan to raise the house 5 feet and move it closer to the street is reasonable. They've been conscientious about sharing their details of their plans and so forth. We have a similar letter dated May 4th from Cindy Dunderdale of 97 Gurnett Road, writing as an abutter in support of the proposed project at 101 Gurnett. My husband Scott and I have reviewed the plans for the project and believe it represents an excellent addition to our neighborhood. We have no concerns regarding the project's impact on privacy, views, traffic, or any other aspects of abutter interests. We have an April 8th memo from the Design Review Board. The applicants propose to lift the existing house, remove the foundation, and reset the house on a new pile foundation, 20 feet westward toward Gurnett Road, than the existing location. The goal is to get the house out of the FEMA VE zone. A new open deck and stair are proposed on the east side facing the sea, and a new open deck with pergola and parking below are proposed on the west side facing Gurnett Road. There is a large increase in the volume of the structure, and the height will exceed the allowable 30 feet. The Design Review Board met to review the application on Wednesday, April 1st. Kevin Dowland was present to explain the project. Submitted documents include site plans showing existing and proposed, prepared by Duxbury Construction, architectural drawings prepared by Herzog Architecture. The height of the structure relative to the grade shown on these architectural drawings was noted as 30 feet, which meets the zoning requirements. However, Kevin Dowland explained that the grade was incorrectly drawn, so the actual height is 33.2 feet, requiring a variance. The DRB requested that the drawings be corrected to show the actual conditions, as the increased height will affect the number of stairs required to show and will change the proportions of the structure. Except for the resubmission, Design Review Board has no objections to the proposal. We have an April 9th memo from Nancy Ruffo, the Conservation Administrator. I've reviewed the application and plans for the above noted project and determined it falls under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. The applicant filed a notice of intent on February 11th and received an order of conditions on April 1 under DEP file number SE 2029. The orders are attached to this memo. No further action is needed with this office at this time. I think that's it for correspondence on the Reichman case. I do believe that's it. So with that, the applicant, we would welcome you to sort of present this and maybe answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. As I said, my name's Kevin Dolan with Sean Dolan and Company. I'm here to represent Paul Reichman and Sandra Reichman at 101 Gurnett Road. The goal of our project is to lift the home from its present status, first and foremost to get it out of the flood zone FEMA. It's out of flood zone 17, and we need to get it up to get it out. We're going to be pulling that building back, as you mentioned, approximately 20 feet to respect the Conservation Commissions, where we can't increase any more footprint within that velocity zone. So we're holding that front line where the existing stairs are, working our way backwards based upon the elevation that we just need to go up to meet FEMA. We're also adding decks, as you mentioned, on the east and the westerly sides. We require that special permit because we are increasing the volume in the nonconformity, or in the nonconformity of the lot by raising that structure. And we're requiring that variance because we will be exceeding that 30-foot height by 3.2 feet in order to respect that FEMA elevation of 17, which means the lowest structural member of the building has to be at 20.
That's right.
Which means our roof has to be at 33.2 as a story-and-a-half cape to accomplish this. A variance basically is needed when unique conditions are related to the land. We meet that because we're in a velocity zone 17. We have a seawall on one side and bay on the other side. The zoning bylaw currently creates a hardship because we can't meet that FEMA regulation or the building regulations because of the height. And there's no detriment to the public or the bylaws by allowing that variance because all we're doing is meeting that particular lot's requirements. And when if there is an event, the water can flow through as designed and not create any detriment to the neighbors, the butters, street, etc. In the end, that's what we're looking for.
Somebody actually read the criteria for a variance. I am impressed. Board members have any questions?
None.
I do not.
Says raise interesting questions, though, about this area in terms of height.
Every time.
I really wish the planning board would take a look at this, because, you are correct that it's a condition related to the site as opposed to the RC district in general, which is part of the consideration, but this area of town we're going to see more of this.
We are going to see more of it. The new regulations from FEMA has raised everything up an extra foot.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
No
Which
questions? I'm sorry, did you?
It's already been a challenge down there, so now it's gotten
Yeah.
a little worse. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No questions for you
I have
guys?
one question. Emmett.
Okay. Hi, Emmett.
So there's no change to the structure, it's just the piers that are causing us to be above the height?
Correct. The roof line, the dormer, everything is staying exactly as is. We're just going straight up with the existing structure and then adding the deck on the easterly and westerly sides.
We need 4 out of 5.
Oh, look.
It is
Thank you.
4 out of 5. It's basically the same as a special permit. I keep forgetting this is a 5-person board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, we're just trying to clarify the vote required. If there are no other questions or comments from board members, I guess I'd ask if anyone's here with any questions or comments on the project that you would like us to take into account. There's a lot of people here tonight. Nobody's saying anything. This is interesting. Do you feel like we need any information that we don't already have?
I don't think so. I mean, to me, it's pretty straightforward, that the reason for this project is to be in compliance with FEMA regulation. Jim,
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong with anything that I say.
Correct so far.
Correct so far, okay. And because the FEMA regulation is going to push the existing height above the allowable limit, that's why the variance is required.
Correct.
To me, the special permit portion of this is the special permit's always the lesser of the two evils.
Right.
And a variance has to be looked at very, very carefully and granted, only in very special cases. And this looks like a special case for me. It's sort of being forced on us by the feds, so
Yep.
try to fight that
Well-
battle. You can't. And, I don't know that we would want to fight that battle if we could. This looks like a good project to me.
It does. Do we have a corrected drawing as noted in the design review board
Say that
Memo?
again? A correct drawing?
corrected drawing?
Yes, we
DRB
corrected
requested
the
that
elevation.
drawings be, I'm sorry.
We corrected the elevation.
Okay. Okay. But this doesn't need to go back to the DRB. This is with us entirely at this point, right?
What I don't have sitting in front of me is actually the updated plot plan, because we're just one short, but you may have it in your packets.
The site plan always had the correct elevation on it. It was the architectural drawings that showed a 30-foot
Oh, okay.
beam height, not the actual site plan. So we corrected the architecturals to,
Okay. To
Coincide with the
conform
site.
with the site plan?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. If we have no other questions and you don't feel that we need additional information, I think we could probably take a vote to close the hearing.
Yeah, as long as nobody from the audience has anything to say.
Yeah, I've asked and no one seems to have anything to say, so. All right.
Move to close the public hearing.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye, Judy.
Hi, Tanya.
Aye, Phil?
I Emmett.
Boris, are you with us?
I heard him say it.
Did I,
Okay, fine. I'm just having trouble hearing. Maybe it's my old
I
age.
didn't
I
hear
didn't.
him either. It's okay.
Would someone like to make a motion to, about this case? I think we need a motion to grant the variance and the special
Yes,
permit.
yes. I would move to grant the special permit and the variance as requested by the applicant.
I will second.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye, Judy.
Hi, Tanya.
Aye, Phil?
I Emmett.
Boris, can you tell us what your vote is, please?
I didn't hear that.
Okay. I think that makes it unanimous.
Sounds unanimous.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You really get credit for knowing the criteria for a variance. I want to tell you, usually people don't get it.
Yeah. Those of you out in TV land, take note.
Okay, the next item is 125 Bow Street. I believe the name is it Duclos? You're right there, sorry. I always panic about just getting names wrong. Anyway, this is an applicant proposing to operate a part-time law practice in an accessory structure and add a freestanding illuminated sign for it. A special permit is required. Do we have any correspondence on this? We probably do. Okay, Planning Board. May 12th, the board met on May 11th and voted 5-0 with one abstention to defer the special permit application for 125 Bow Street to the Board of Appeals with no further comments. We have a memo from the Design Review Board dated May 7th. At our meeting on May 6th, the Design Review Board reviewed and discussed a proposal from Mr. Justin DeClose, 125 Bow Street, to erect an illuminated sign on his property identifying his place of business. Specifically, the proposed sign would bear the words DeClose Attorney 125 and would be painted a dark blue with white lettering, would be illuminated, and would be mounted on a stone post. For the following reasons, we do not support this proposal. The property is in a residential district for zoning purposes, and as a general matter, commercial signage should be restricted in such districts. This neighborhood is one of many many antique homes and has a semi-rural character. It is an area of high scenic value. We know of no other evidence of commercial activity in the area. In these circumstances, we recommend against permitting the proposed signage. Indeed, the same point was made by a direct butter, Jessica Williams, who appeared at our meeting and spoke in opposition to the proposal. The applicant did not specify in his plans the location of the sign, nor was he able to indicate its location with specificity when asked to do so at our meeting. No information was offered as to the type of illumination proposed. Without information as to the amount of light to be emitted, its positioning and effect on objects in the landscape, its, quote, temperature and related information, we cannot evaluate this aspect of the proposal. If the ZBA decides to grant the special permit, the permit should be conditioned to require that the light be turned off after normal business hours are concluded, and that it be positioned so as not to shine into the roadway or onto neighboring properties. I don't understand this water department comment, but Duxbury water rules and regulations require all water services shall be individually metered. A separate water service line tapped off of Bow Street and $7,500 connection will be required.
I think that's because it's an accessory.
Yeah, it's dawning on me as I'm reading this. That is Patty's email requesting comments. Board of Health has no issue with the home occupation office and sign. That is in a memo dated April 1. We have some comments from, I think, abutters here, or people who live close by. We are the residents of 1221 Tremont Street and are writing in regard to the application of Justin DeClose for a special permit at his home office at 125 Bow Street. I have been provided with a copy of the letter submitted by Beth and Bill Finnegan of 130 Bow Street. In order not to be redundant, my wife Donna and I also opposed this request for a special permit for signage at this location for many of the same reasons expressed by Beth and Bill and others as noted below. My perspective is from the other side of the road at Tremont Street. I am told that the sign is proposed on Tremont Street. This makes no sense. Signage is for direction information. This is useless in this regard since there will be no entrance or parking here and no visibility due to the large, dense tree cover. This comment assumes that a curb cut approval has not been requested from Mass DOT. It will further exacerbate an already existing traffic issue, especially on the southbound side of the street, where I assume the sign is planned. This already has major issues, especially during peak traffic hours, and even with new lights and signalization, does not work well. Many here, I am sure, have sat through long traffic light delays. I do not know if there's a recent traffic study, but it may prove helpful. The sign is only useful for Mr. DeClose's clients, who I believe are not intended to be visiting this location, but his existing office, and therefore serves only as an advertising vehicle. If the occasional visit does occur, a GPS locator can pinpoint the location. That is how everyone gets around these days. If this is a busy client location, which we are told it will not be, only part-time use, where do these clients park? On another matter, I understand that Mr. DeClose represented that his office location is simply an extension of the commercial activity that has taken place in the Millbrook area. I am a 48-year resident at my location and adamantly opposed to anyone, and especially our Duxbury officials, possibly taking such an approach or point of view regarding any expansion of commercial activity into a residential district, especially in a location steeped in local history as is much of our town. This property is in a residential compatibility district, completely residential except for the American Legion, which was approved years ago to honor our patriotic servicemen. Mr. DeClose's current listed business address is 455 Washington Street, a commercial district at most a few miles away from his home, zoned to provide for business use. I find it unusual that he feels a need to establish a part-time home office and have a sign to conduct, quote, part of his business at his home address. I am not aware of any signage at his current address. I would submit that all the negative impacts expressed by Beth and Bill regarding Bow Street also pertain to Tremont Street and are as of even more significant on Tremont. Also, I think germane to the situation generally, I would ask town officials to please explain the difference between an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, i.e. a residential property for home occupancy, and an accessory structure, as stated in the notice of public hearing. How does a structure go from an accessory residential use to a commercial use, and the change in use occur prior to the completion of construction? What were the approvals requested and provided by the town for the construction of this building that now seems to be morphing from a dwelling unit to a part-time law office? I think this sort of creep is exactly what our bylaws are designed to inhibit. Thank you for your attention to these comments. Donna and John Duffy. We have a letter, I can't see the date on it, but it was received here on May 5th, from Beth and Bill Finnegan. We are residents of 130 Bow Street, writing regarding the application of Justin DeClose for a special permit at 125 Bow. After careful review and consideration, we respectfully oppose the requested special permit. The north side of Bow Street is a narrow, fully residential roadway that already struggles to accommodate routine two-way traffic. The introduction of a business use, bringing client visits, increased vehicle turnover, parking demand, and deliveries, would add a level of activity that the street is not well designed to support. In particular, this raises legitimate concerns about the safe passage for school buses, emergency vehicles, and other large vehicles, which may be forced to maneuver in constrained conditions. Our experience during the construction of the accessory structure at 125 Bow Street underscores these concerns. Construction vehicles regularly required accommodation beyond the site itself, including the use of our neighboring property. While we cooperated at the time, this experience illustrated how even temporary increases in traffic and activity can affect surrounding properties. A permanent business use would be expected to generate ongoing impacts of a similar nature. As the proposed use does not have a separate address, it appears that all deliveries and client access would occur via Bow Street, further concentrating activity on this already constrained roadway. We are also concerned about the introduction of access from Route 3A to 125 Bow Street. This access has not historically existed, and adding it may increase traffic movements near an intersection that is already known to be challenging. Any additional turning movements in this area could have safety and congestion implications. The proposed freestanding illuminated sign is another element that appears inconsistent with the residential character of Bow Street. The introduction of commercial signage, particularly illuminated signage, would represent a noticeable shift in the visual character of the neighborhood. While the application describes a part-time law practice, approval of the permit would establish a commercial use at this location. Over time, such uses can evolve in scale and intensity, whether through increased hours, staffing, client volume, or deliveries. It is difficult for abutters to anticipate or meaningfully limit these changes once the use is established. Finally, approval of this application may set a precedent for similar requests within the residential compatibility district. The distinction between residential and commercial areas serves an important purpose in maintaining neighborhood character and managing infrastructure demands. Granting this permit risks incremental changes that could, over time, alter the character of the Bow Street area. For these reasons, we respectfully request that the board deny the special permit. We have a similar letter from Tracy and Mike Hullett, I believe is the last name, at 110 Bow Street. And I think with the patience of folks here, I might just summarize this because it's very similar to the letter I just read. The Hullets point out at the outset, the application raises questions about the intent of the RC district, a zoning designation that's meant to preserve the residential character of neighborhoods like ours. The proposed signage, particularly freestanding illuminated, would introduce a visible commercial element that is not typical of a residential district, which would feel out of place in Bow Street. There's also a practical matter of monitoring and enforcement. The proposal may be presented as limited in scope, but it is difficult in practice for the town to track changes over time, such as increased traffic, expanded hours, and so on. Approval of the request also raises concerns about precedent. Permitting a business use in an accessory structure within this district may make it more difficult to deny similar applications in the future. Traffic and roadway safety are additional considerations. Bow Street is already narrow and can be difficult for two-way traffic. Property values in neighborhoods like ours are closely tied to maintaining a consistent residential environment with limited traffic and so forth. Introducing a business use along with visible commercial elements, such as signage, has a potential to alter that dynamic over time in ways that could negatively impact property values. So they also request that the special permit be denied. And then there's an email from Becky Villamere. Glenn and Rebecca Villamere are writing the board in response regarding the application of Justin DeClose and Emily Haar illuminated freestanding sign at 125 Bow Street. They feel it does not conform to a residential neighborhood, nor the aesthetics in the Duxbury area of lots of old homes and properties. This isn't a commercial area, it's a neighborhood. And finally, there is I believe this is the last one, a memo from Mary McCarran at 120 Bow Street, who also opposes the application. She said she lives at 120 Bow Street, directly across the street, and feels that she would be the most directly affected by the sign. So those are the comments. As far as I know, that is it.
Did you get the one from the
Thank you. Well, aren't you organized? The Conservation Commission sent a memo on May 13th. I reviewed this submittal and determined that the proposed work is not located within 100 feet of a resource area, 200 feet of a riverfront, or within land subject to coastal storm flowage. Therefore, it falls outside the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. And then we have an email from Donna and John Pekalonis. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We would like to register our objection to the proposed sign at 125 Bow Street. We feel it will change the neighborhood character and will be an eyesore. We're unaware of any other residential neighborhoods that have allowed this. That's it. Okay. So again, just to review the way we do this, we hear from the applicant first. Board gets to ask questions of the applicant, and then we'll open it for comments and questions from other interested parties who are here. Yes, sir. It's your up now. What?
Judy, can I ask a question?
Well, the applicant's going to present, but yet, is it a point of order, Emmett?
It's a general question. I'm confused on something.
Okay.
So, is this special permit to allow the use of a sign, or to allow to have the accessory dwelling as a law office?
It's to use an accessory structure as a law office and install a sign.
So both, okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thanks. That's right. There's two parts to it. One is simply to be above board, that we have this structure, and occasionally I may use it to see a client. I really don't have the kind of practice where people come and go, especially in 2026 and going forward. It's all done online, and it's all done in phone calls. But occasionally you have to connect with somebody to sign papers. That's about what it is, to drop something off and so on. So I just want to be above board to let you know that that's what we intend to do there. It's actually my wife's workspace, but I may, from time to time, have somebody drop by. But I think we've seen a client for 15 minutes at our house once in the 5 years that we've owned it. So that's that. And the sign, when I talked to Dave Hassan about this, the fellow that carves the signs, the handmade signs, he said, ask the board for everything that you might wish to have, and then, maybe talk about dialing it back. So that's what we did. It's proposed as the granite post with a sign that's maybe 2 feet square of space, and it says my name, J. Duclos, attorney, 125, which is the address of the space. Does it have to look like that? No. And does it have to be illuminated? No. It's just, would be nice. So I'm happy to talk about making it, more palatable to people if you have questions about how we might be able to do that. But I don't have much more to say about it.
So we have special requirements for home occupations in our zoning bylaw.
Correct.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at that, but I think
do.
just in case people are not aware, this is what our zoning bylaw says about home occupations which require a special permit. In the residential compatibility district, the Board of Appeals may issue a special permit for a portion of a dwelling as a principal location for the practice of their occupation by a person, parentheses, such as an architect, counselor, consultant, dentist, doctor, engineer, insurance broker, etc., who is a resident therein, provided that the home occupation use shall clearly be incidental and subordinate to the residential use, and not more than 25% of the floor area of the dwelling shall be devoted to the home occupation use. There shall be no change in the exterior appearance of the premises, nor any visible evidence of the conduct of a home occupation, other than one non-illuminated sign, not to exceed 2 square feet in area, if such sign has been allowed under a special permit granted by the Board of Appeals. Hence the request for a sign as well as the home occupation use. And then special permit has been granted by the Board of Appeals under the standards of 906.2, which has to do with impact on surrounding properties in the community and so forth, and we'll get to those. So I don't even know how we do an illuminated sign in this location and comply with the requirements of our own zoning bylaw.
I recall having that conversation, but it was not listened to, and here we are today.
Okay.
I can withdraw the illumination component. It's really not important.
How big is the sign?
I don't know.
There are no specs for it.
Does he have dimensions on it?
Is it dimensions on there?
It's,
Okay.
And it can be brought to within 2 feet square if it's not already.
But we need to actually see the sign, the proposed sign that
I have it.
complies.
Sorry.
I think that's the concern. You need to submit.
It's after the photos. If you go through the application,
Yeah.
there's a page after the photos.
Okay,
that
so I'm
shows
asking the applicant, I thank you, Patty is big help.
Yeah.
The applicant should know what they're proposing, so I want to make sure that we have an actual sign drawing that doesn't exceed the parameters in the zoning bylaw. Do we know if we conform to the 25% rule?
It's not in his dwelling, though.
No,
Well,
Yeah.
it's an so can I just ask a question? Chair?
oh, sure, absolutely.
I did have that.
What?
I was curious about the fact that this was not in the dwelling.
Right. I think it should be borne by the applicant to tick through the criteria required for a special permit, especially since you're an attorney. I'm sure you can go through each of those with respect to the sign and the accessory dwelling and why we should grant each.
If he doesn't comply with the regulations, it would be a variance, then if it was an
Yeah.
accessory
Right, but this,
structure. Wouldn't it?
Well, as we know, we have a badly written zoning bylaw.
But
So
it
we
does
d-
provide the criteria for a special permit.
Yeah, oh yeah, I do understand that.
Yeah.
But back to the question of variance.
I can speak to those.
We have, there's nothing explicit that bars the use of an accessory structure for customary accessory uses. And a home occupation, I'm sorry, to me is a customary incidental use of a residence, but
But when you read that, it sounded like it had to be in the house.
Where you're a resident.
And I think our bylaw is one of the conditions of it is that if something is not specifically permitted in the bylaw, it's not allowed.
that's right, it's a permissive zoning bylaw.
Well, we use it for all sorts of things. I mean, it's got a bedroom, it's got a bathroom, it's got a living room, and it's got this little office where my wife works, where I thought occasionally maybe I would see somebody. But, you know, it's like one of these things, maybe I should have never even brought it up, you know, because it's not even likely to happen. It's just to be above board. We're letting you know that I might see a client there once every 5 years for 15 minutes, basically.
You currently have an office on Washington Street?
Yeah, it's a mailing address, it's a P.O. box, like I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't practice law that way. I'm sort of in the twilight of my career, thankfully. I've got a few clients every now and then, and I don't see them on site.
It was in the beginning of what you read, Judy.
I know.
Okay.
I'm in the wrong district. I just lost my place in here because this bylaw is so screwed up. All right. I just want to go back to this language.
410.7.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
You definitely need a special permit to practice, to have a business here, especially inviting the public.
Yes, I mean, is a home occupation's allowed by special permit in the town of Duxbury.
But it doesn't say you're inviting guests.
No. As I read the part earlier, that it's, I'll repeat it. Clearly incidental and subordinate to the residential use, and not more than 25% of the floor area of the dwelling shall be devoted to the home occupation. There shall be no change in the exterior appearance of the premises, nor any visible evidence of the conduct of the home occupation other than one non-illuminated sign not to exceed 2 square feet. And of course, the sign has to be approved by the Board of Appeals. And then
Sure.
it requires a special permit from us. And then 2, a home occupation which will have no clients or pupils calling, will have no extraordinary deliveries or mail of packages, will have no signage, and will employ only one resident of the dwelling, may obtain a permit from the zoning enforcement officer.
That's
correct.
Without a special
Maybe I
permit.
agree.
Right.
Yep.
So if
There's
it-
one part, just if I could just read that for you into the
Sure.
record, that you did, just because Freeman was asking about it. 410.7, which is home occupation special permit regulations. Number 1, this is the part that you were querying. In a residential compatibility district, the Board of Appeals may issue a special permit for the use of a portion of a dwelling as a principal location for the practice of their occupation.
So if it was a accessory dwelling unit, an ADU, then he could use 25% of it, or we could issue a special permit for 25% of that ADU.
It's not an ADU.
I know, but if it was,
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Okay, sorry.
Why is it not an ADU? We always kind of thought of it as an ADU, and if we were to rent it to somebody else as opposed to use it for our family and so on, there'd be a lot more activity in this place, people coming and going every day. But we've just chose to keep it in the family essentially, and not have that kind of.
How large is the structure, do you know?
I'm happy to answer that.
It needs to be permitted as an
Go right
ADU.
ahead.
So the application for it was to convert the barn to an office for home use.
Okay.
There was no permit applied for an accessory dwelling unit.
Okay.
Yeah, we spoke with our contractor to have that done. It's news to me that it wasn't done, actually, so. I guess
A home occupation which will have no clients or pupils calling, will have no extraordinary deliveries of mail or packages, will have no signage, and will employ only residents of the dwelling, may obtain a permit for such use from the zoning enforcement officer.
That is correct. But as I understood it in my initial conversations that I recall, was that the applicant wanted to have clients and signs, so that's why.
Well, that's part of the application is for a sign, so.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, well, we can't make a decision yet. We need to ask if there's comments. Do you have any other questions of the applicant? Anybody have questions of the applicant?
I do, because I drove by and I did notice what appeared to be a construction trailer on Tremont Street, and there seemed to be an area to access the accessory structure from Tremont Street. Is that the case?
That's just back access to the property. It's always been there. I think there was a driveway there for the structure that used to exist before our house was built. So there's like an apron to get in. And I think in some of the old plans shows the driveway in that backyard. So it's always been there. There used to be a gate there, actually.
We'll get to-
We took the gate out, like a big swinging gate. Took the gate out, and it's the widest point of access on the property. So when we have, like, the tree company comes in to prune the larger maple trees, they come in on that way. There's no other way to get onto the property, actually. The driveway just lands at the front of the house.
So that's just a temporary access for construction vehicles or maintenance vehicles, and it wouldn't be where your clients would park?
The idea, that's why the sign was sought. The idea was if someone was going to come and visit, that they would pull into that access spot and just come up to this door.
I think you'd need a road opening permit from the state in order to make a permanent access in that location.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because it's a state highway.
Yeah, we talked about that, again, with my contractors.
And I don't think they give you one if you have access on Bow Street. So I think the only way you could have clients visit would be to park in your driveway.
Yeah, and they most likely never will, so.
I personally feel as though advertising of that nature is untasteful for this community. I think if Phil and I and Jessica and everybody else put up signs stating our professional occupation, it would tend to look not very nice. If he's only going to see occasional clients and he just has his name on a unlit sign in front of the house on Bow Street and somebody would stop by there, I wouldn't find that as bad.
I think you can do that as a right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to exceed 2 square feet, right?
But-
But not
And that's kind of-
advertising, but not advertising your business, just your name,
Just the name.
just your
It's my
name.
name, yeah, I guess it says attorney, and in the end, that's the difference.
That turns it into advertising. And
Yeah.
I don't
So,
think we want anything other than temporary signs during election times.
Okay.
Am I
So-
going to put a sign in front of his house?
just, generally, because I'm standing here, we're talking about it. Long history of attorneys in these New England communities of having their businesses at their houses and having a little sign out front. The doctor, the lawyer, and so on. We are definitely moving away from that. I hear that, and I see that, but long history, and in my opinion, as a local attorney, I guess I'm disappointed that
I'm confused. I don't know where you're drawing the analogy from. There are no such signs in residential compatibility districts that you're stating.
Unless they're lawfully
it's a
pre-existing.
long history. I'm
non-conforming.
going back colonial times. Daniel Webster had a law office like this with his name on the front. It's that kind of thing. I'm not talking about in 2026 that you see people with attorney signs out front. You don't. But that's why I say I'm disappointed. There is a long historical record of the profession and the professional in the community having his practice and having her sign on the door.
I've seen it, and I don't find the use so offensive. I used to go to a dentist who lived off of Crescent Street, and he had a little sign in front that had his name on it, and that was it. And I think he converted part of his garage into his office, and it had a separate entrance, and I don't think anybody found it offensive. I don't think he had 6 people in there.
It may also have predated this bylaw, too.
Probably,
Yeah.
maybe.
So Emmett, I think we're getting bogged down with the sign. I think the bigger picture is allowing the use of a business in a residential dwelling, aside from the sign. I think that's one of the big contentions of the neighbors. It's not just the sign. Sign is a minor issue. It's having a law office, or whatever we're calling it, there. In Freeman, I agree. I have accessory dwellings, legal accessory dwellings. Can I put a sign up that says who I am and what I do? People visit? No, I own space. We all rent space. My neighbors would go ballistic if I ever tried to do this, and I understand it. I'm going to say I'm adamantly opposed I'm adamantly opposed to allowing the use of this as a business and the sign. I'm just cutting. I don't want to go on forever about this. Regardless of how the application is incomplete, we don't know where the sign's going. In the past, they do plot plans. Where's the sign go? And the neighbors, and as a board, we generally support the neighbors if they're in favor or not. I'm adamantly opposed. I mean, to having commercial goings on in residential neighborhoods.
I believe attorneys are carved out in the bylaw, separate from other professions.
Under certain conditions, yes.
That's all. As far as Emmett's saying, if he had a sign out, neighbors would go ballistic, but attorneys are carved out separately.
Yeah, we're certainly a town that doesn't like to have tradespeople in our community. God forbid we should identify them. I guess I'd like to open up for questions or comments from folks who are here, because you've been waiting, and I now know why we didn't have any questions on the 40B, because you were all here for another matter, and truthfully, I figured you were here for that case, and I didn't want to make you sit through a long, oh dear Lord, anyway, happy to take questions. So we're going to need the podium. People can go up to the podium, so why don't you take a seat? So you're going to have to identify yourself by name and address, and direct your question to us, please.
I'm Mary McCarran. I live at 120 Bow Street. And I just want to clarify, Ms. Barrett, I think you said that the applicant was not willing to tell us whether he wants the sign on Tremont Street or on Bow Street. So I just wonder where.
We're just not sure, based on the application. The application is not clear.
Right. So it should be on there. The location of the sign should be identified.
I think it said somewhere that it was going to be on Tremont Street.
That was
maybe-
the idea, yeah.
We usually get a plan that shows where exactly it's going to go.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
we don't have a plan that shows exactly where it's going to go. Perhaps
Yeah,
that's,
sorry, that was pointed out. I thought it was kind of obvious, but that's my oversight. That we would never put a sign on Bow Street. It was meant to go on 3A.
Okay.
We have about 185 feet on 3A. It's just nothing but a line of cars and traffic, and we're right at the stoplight, so we've never thought of it as an intrusion. There are quite a few signs out there now, actually.
okay. So let us continue to hear from the neighbors. Did you have another question or comment?
That's it.
Okay.
Make a comment.
Thank you. All right. Other speakers? Yes.
Hi. My name is Jessica Williams, 1243 Tremont Street, architect, live across the street, don't have a sign, had a little bit of a home occupation. I'm totally opposed to having a sign in this area, and the signs that are existing right now between Millbrook Motors, what I formerly call as Millbrook Motors, and really Town Hall, is just the Legion. That's it. The only other signs you're seeing actually are, right now, you have your stump grinder sign is there. You're the guy that's actually supposed to get a permit for that. You probably make sure he gets that. And then there's also the tree guy sign. So those are the only two signs that are set up just for that property right now, impeding our enjoyment of the road. I'm not opposed to the idea of having a home office. I think a home office is great. I want to point out that in order to have an accessory dwelling unit, you have to go through a whole process of going through site plan review. It's not just a dwelling unit because it happens to have a bedroom in it. It needs to have other things, and a dwelling unit is a very specific thing that the state finally, after years and years, has approved for us, but we did not even have the terminology of dwelling unit in Duxbury until last February, I think it was 22nd. So you cannot have a dwelling unit, therefore because you haven't gone through that process, therefore you cannot use a portion of a building that is not a dwelling unit as your home occupancy.
Denied some.
Yes,
I'm talking in general.
She's talking to us. She's directing.
So I'm just
the
making
statement to
sure
us.
that you all know that there's a couple of steps here that have to go on before anyone could use a portion of their dwelling for home occupancy. You could certainly use a portion of the dwelling of your main dwelling. You don't have a second dwelling. You have an accessory structure. It is not a dwelling unit. It is not appropriate to be using a portion of that as a home occupancy. In terms of the idea that somebody could have, that lawyers for generations have had signs up on their houses, I've never once seen one. And as an architect, I have worked out of my own house. I've never put a sign up. I know lots of other businesses that work out of their houses. They've never put signs up. I, as an architect across the street, when I needed to meet my client, I went to the library. It was a great place. You can go sign out of space. You don't even have to get charged. Easy peasy. So I suggest that for the very few times that you anticipate having clients, you find an alternative place to meet them. And having the sign is purely advertising.
Jessica, can you direct your comments to us and not the applicant, please?
I suggest that the board consider the fact that having a sign is purely advertising, and that there is no other advertising between Millbrook Motors, honestly, and Town Hall, other than the Legion, which isn't really advertising. It's a useful community item for us, but we do not have business signs anywhere on Tremont Street until you get well past Town Hall. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other comments, please? Yes, come up.
I just want to make one comment.
Yes.
Me as a zoning enforcement officer and my inspectors, as we drive around town, we collect those signs, so I'll be taking a ride there to grab those signs that are illegal on that street tomorrow.
Thank you.
We're not everywhere all the time.
No, of course not. Understood.
Hi,
Yes,
John
sir.
Duffy, 1221 Tremont Street. Basically, and I'm not going to repeat what Jess said, but I'm in complete agreement with it. I think part of this, though, hinges, and I, in some respect, admire you, admire Mr. Duclos.
Thank you.
For the plans that were filed were for offices. And I said to myself, is this the typical game that many people in the business play that, will convert later? But it says an office space. Having said that, I think we, as a town, have some things to correct. ADU is very different than an accessory structure. An accessory structure has been converted to office space, which isn't allowed in the town of Duxbury, without a special permit. So I think it's you folks stated it yourself, that the bylaw needs some serious help. That's one area where it does. The only other thing I would say is the DOT. I just worked with them incessantly last year on that corner. I live on the corner of Tremont Street. They are not nice people to deal with. How you have a curb cut that my knowledge, I've been there for 48 years, there was never a curb cut there. A curb cut needs to be approved by DOT, especially in a situation like that, that there is incessant traffic, especially on school and on Saturday mornings heading southbound. Another curb cut and a sign is ridiculous. It's just a distraction. And, I'm sorry, but it's advertising. That's what you're doing, is you're advertising.
Please
You're not
direct your
having
comments
guests.
to us, not the
Sorry.
applicant.
But, I mean, if there is very, very infrequent business use of the space, why do you need a parking space? Why do you need a sign? Those are my comments.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? My goodness. You had asked that the applicant perhaps review the special permit granting criteria and tell us how the project
Yes,
meets them.
it's the applicant's responsibility to do that, and I haven't heard any of
It's
that
in my
yet.
application. I'll just
No.
rest on the papers.
You didn't outline it in the application, and that's one of the reasons I'm
I think
asking
it's in
for
my
you.
application. I
Okay.
did everything I could to speak to the terms of the permit and the bylaw.
I don't find it to be sufficient, so.
So,
You know which way you're voting.
I don't,
That's been clear.
as I see it, we are being asked to approve a home occupation by special permit and a sign. Does anybody disagree with me? Because this application's a little bit muddy. But it seems to me as though that's what this is. You agree, Emmett?
I'm going back to the application to see what exactly is being applied for, because
That's what I'm
I'm
trying to,
confused.
I think we can still, I think we can still.
You should go back to the application because I think the
Don't-
abutter.
Okay,
notices-
you don't have to tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Thank you.
okay, so it is requesting both approval for a part-time law practice at home in a small separate structure, parentheses, rehabbed barn, contractor Kevin Dolan. Very occasionally meet with a client to review signed papers, town resident for 12 years, servicing residents at the same length. Small detached, gently illuminated sign on post for clients to locate hidden barn drive. Sign maker David Hassan. So the access to this accessory structure is off Tremont Street? Is that what this is saying?
And there's no drive today.
Pardon me?
There's no drive there today. There hasn't been a drive this.
If, do you want to address the board? I hate to do this to you, but you actually have to go up and identify yourself and so forth.
It makes it easier for the people on the screen to be
Yeah,
able to hear what
yeah.
they're.
Everybody on the screens, this is Bill Finnegan from 130 Bow Street.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, since we've been there, and we've been there since 1994, there's been no access to the back of the house. It was an empty lot until 2012. And Eric lived there, they didn't use access. The Taglianos lived there, there was no. You're building parking right now, right? I'm sorry, I'm addressing only because I'm asking.
I'm just gonna put
You
our
need
vote
to
back
direct
there.
your questions to us.
No, I'm asking him because he used to build it.
I know, but
There's an apron, there's a concrete cement apron that's built in like a driveway.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that doesn't make it.
sir,
They're
you
talking to
cannot
each other.
exchange with the applicant. You need to exchange with us,
Okay,
okay? Thank
so
you.
what would you like to ask?
Are you asking,
No, I'm saying that, I'm telling you that there was no access used
Okay.
for the last two people that lived in that home.
okay,
There's like a tar berm there, and now there's parking going in right now,
okay.
but there has not been parking, and nobody parked back there, and it just didn't happen.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Well, we're certainly not going to approve, I'm sorry, you need to go back up to the podium.
I just wanted to say that the picture of the sign that he has on the screen, or had on the screen, is not 2 by 2, because it's a rectangle.
With regards to the sign,
Yes,
we couldn't approve what was submitted just because there are no dimensions on the sign.
I understand that, I know.
Just for clarification.
I think we,
Go ahead.
rather than just kicking the can down the road, I think we could give him some direction.
That's what I was about to get to. I agree.
Thank you.
I agree with you. So when we find ourselves in a situation like this, sometimes it's helpful for the board to take an informal kind of straw poll based on the information that we have in front of us to see, to just so the applicant can get the temperature of the board. You could decide to withdraw without prejudice and resubmit an application that's complete, because it's not right now. We don't have a sign, we don't have a plan that shows where the sign's going, we don't have sign dimensions, we don't have any of that. And there's really some lack of clarity here about this structure. So you could withdraw without prejudice and reapply, or, you know, you could just have us take it to a vote tonight. But if we take a straw poll and you get a sense that perhaps the board is not inclined to grant the permit, you can either like withdraw and then reapply later, or take whatever the vote is going to be.
Well, I don't feel it going our way, so I'm totally fine withdrawing. I mean, it's just not that important to us. We were just trying to do the right thing. The sign was an ask, and I don't need the sign, so.
Are you thinking that you might withdraw without prejudice and reapply?
Yeah, I mean, why not, you know?
Or couldn't he modify the application?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you modify the application to submit a sign that has dimensions that we actually know what it is, and we can tell on a plan where it's going, and we have sufficient information to address the requirements of both Section 410.7 of the zoning bylaw as well as 906.2. 410.7 is the requirement specifically for a home occupation. 906.2 is the requirements for a special permit. And I do agree, your application does sort of, at least in a very general way, address those requirements. We sort of force it in the design of the application, that they have to address. And
There's a letter included that addresses all the points.
I'm not saying it's sufficient, I'm just saying there sort of is basic information there. If you want to withdraw, I'm sorry, was there a comment from somebody up there?
Yes. So the way that I'm listening to it is that maybe he's got a shot at this later on if he redoes it. I don't think he does. Not with the neighbors, not with all of that. I don't think we should encourage him to go redraw it, lose the sign. I don't think I would change my answer, my vote now, today, or next Tuesday, or 50 Tuesdays from now, under these circumstances, including, so, I don't know, I don't think we should encourage him to.
Well, I just want to point out to everybody, there is a second paragraph under the home occupation rules that bypasses this board entirely.
Which I get, but we're there. Just because we can't allow it doesn't mean we should allow it. I understand that, Judy.
Emmett, I'm not saying we should or shouldn't. I'm saying that he doesn't even have to come back to us if he meets the requirements of paragraph 2 under 410.7. He doesn't even have to come back here.
What does that say again, please?
A home occupation which will have no clients or pupils calling, will have no extraordinary deliveries of mail or packages, and will employ only residents of the dwelling, may obtain a permit for such use from the zoning enforcement officer.
But it doesn't allow him to put up a sign,
That's right.
okay?
And it doesn't allow clients.
Right.
I don't think any of us are going to allow him to put up a sign that says attorney on it.
I
I
don't
would
disagree.
be okay putting up a sign that just has his last name on it.
Sure.
In front of his house.
That complies with the RC district requirements for a sign. Sure.
So that's my suggestion.
That's where it's all headed. It's fine, you know, yeah.
So, but I just want people here to
Did
understand.
you not just say that it's for the resident, not for outside people coming in? That's
Yeah,
not
we don't
what the
need people
application
to-
is.
I'll read it again.
We're good.
I'll read it again. A home occupation which will have no clients or pupils calling, will have no extraordinary deliveries of mail or packages, will have no signage, and will employ only residents of the dwelling, may obtain a permit for such use from the zoning enforcement officer.
So, yes.
So they could operate a home occupation that's completely inconspicuous on this property with a permit from Jim.
Without client visitation.
That's correct.
I just, in my opinion, reading that, it uses the word home and it uses the word dwelling. It does not use the word accessory structure.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so we'll use our home office, which is bigger than the office that we were talking about. We can drop this, guys. It's not that important. We've resolved it first. We came.
Just trying to do the right thing.
Yes,
So are you asking to withdraw your application without prejudice?
that's right. Yeah.
Do we need to vote to approve that?
No.
I don't think we do. I think you can just make that action on your own. You're going to withdraw, so it would go in the record as a withdrawal without prejudice from the applicant. In which case, I think they'll probably begin to see Jim. And I trust that you will interpret this exactly as it's written.
That's what I would do.
Thank you. I think you do, actually. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is that it?
No,
There's one more.
There's one more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Sunday. All right.
What you do about
We have a final application. Folks, if you're going to talk, would you mind just going out in the hall? My voice is clearly not loud enough.
Excuse me, could you guys please just take it out in the hall?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we can continue? Thanks.
1 second, Judy.
What?
I know an individual that is in a butter to the next case and indicating that they're not able to speak on the Zoom call. Patty, does that make any sense?
What did you
I don't
say?
see any hands raised.
What
His
did,
name?
Maureen Caruso.
Okay, I see her. Did she raise her hand? Does she want to talk now, or is this?
I don't know, she's just saying the audio is off, trying to speak, audio to Zoom, audience is off.
She can't just speak. She has to be allowed to speak. She has to
Okay.
raise her hand.
She has to raise her hand.
This is for the
Okay.
upcoming one. Yeah, when she wants to talk, when you ask.
Okay.
I would just let her know to
Great.
raise her hand.
I would have guessed she's listening.
you should probably explain that.
Yes, you're right. I didn't even think about it.
Well, I didn't know there was anybody else up there. but
Yeah.
you can-
So just to be clear, if there's anybody who's joining remotely and you want to speak at the appropriate time, you just need to use the raise hand feature on Zoom, and Patty will do the right thing and kind of admit you. Okay, Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing in the Mural Room at 878 Tremont Street on Thursday, May 14th, to consider the application of David Gooley for a special permit under Articles 400 and 900, Sections 4012 and 410.4, and 906.2 of the Duxbury Protective Bylaw. The property is located at 8 Mayflower Road, parcel number 081-952-019 of the Duxbury Assessor's Map, consisting of .172 acres in the RC District and owned by David Gooley and Diane Mary Chamberlain Gooley. The applicants propose to construct a two-story addition and a screened-in porch to a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling. A special permit is required. The application was on file for review in this building. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance or participation is provided as a courtesy, the meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the broadcast unless required by law. The meeting will be recorded. That is our public hearing notice. So, just to review what's on file here, we have an application with a cover letter from Grady Consulting. We have an application duly completed with various attachments, which I'm sure the applicant will get to soon. We have a little bit of correspondence here. May 12th, the planning board sent us a memo voting that they voted 6-0 to defer special permit application to the Board of Appeals with no further comments. At their meeting on May 6th, the Design Review Board discussed the proposed two-story and screened porch additions. The owner, Diane Gooley, presented the project to the DRB. As drawn, the roof lines appear unresolved between the two-story addition and the existing structure. Additional roof detailing will be needed to coordinate multiple pitches for adequate drainage and runoff. The DRB has no objections to the aesthetics of the addition. The design is compatible with the neighborhood and the existing structure. We have an April 1 memo from the Board of Health. Witnessed percolation tests on October 3rd, 2024, and received a disposal system construction permit on October 23, 2024, with subsequent installation of a new 4-bedroom, 444-gallon per day leaching facility completed on November 6, 2024. Certificate of completion is in lieu of a Title V inspection report. Therefore, nothing further will be required from the Board of Health. We have an email from Maureen Sullivan, dated May 7th, sent to Patty for the board. To members of the board, I'm reaching out to the zoning board in opposition to the structure proposed by David Gooley. My home abuts David Gooley's property at 8 Mayflower Road. I respectfully request that the board deny or substantially modify the requested special permit application for the proposed addition at 8 Mayflower Road. My opposition is based not on personal disagreement with the applicant, but on the project's inconsistency with the intent and standards of the zoning bylaw and its negative impact on the surrounding neighborhood. The proposed structure is excessively large and visually obtrusive in relation to the established character of the neighborhood. The scale, massing, and overall height of the addition are significantly out of proportion with nearby homes and lots. Rather than remaining compatible with the existing residential streetscape, the proposal would introduce a structure that dominates adjacent properties and alters the established visual character of the area. The board is required to consider whether a special permit could be granted without substantial detriment to the neighborhood and whether the proposal is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. In this case, the oversized nature of the proposed addition raises serious concerns regarding neighborhood compatibility, visual impact on adjacent homes, loss of openness and light, increased sense of crowding and overdevelopment, impacts on the reasonable enjoyment of neighboring properties. While homeowners certainly have the right to improve their property, those improvements should remain consistent with the surrounding neighborhood and should not impose unreasonable impacts on abutting properties. The proposal appears to maximize the buildable envelope of the lot without sufficient regard for the cumulative effect on neighborhood properties or the overall residential character of the area. Approval of a structure of this scale could also set an undesirable precedent for future overdevelopment within the neighborhood. I respectfully request that the board deny the application as submitted, or alternatively, require substantial reductions in the size, height, and massing of the proposed addition. Require increased setback, screening, or design modifications to reduce the visual and neighborhood impacts. Thank you for your consideration. Maureen Sullivan, Caruso, 8 Winthrop Avenue. We have an email. It is the same as the letter, I think. Maureen Sullivan. This is May 7th.
Okay.
It's the same. And then we have, of course, the plan, and we have an application.
Conservation.
I don't see anything in here from Conservation. It might be in the,
It was the update one, yeah. It
okay.
was-
Okay, sorry. Glad you're on top of this.
There's a couple of them up here.
Okay,
Oh, it's
sorry.
under that one, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I shoved everything up there so I could just, sorry.
No, there was
Okay, we have, from the Conservation Administrator dated May 13th, I've reviewed this submittal and determined that the proposed work is not located within 100 feet of a resource area, 200 feet of a riverfront area, or within land subject to coastal storm flowage. Therefore, it falls outside the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. No further review is required from this office. And I do think that is probably it. Why don't you tell us about your project?
Good evening. Scott Finara with Grady Consulting, representing the applicant. We're here tonight for a special permit for a couple of additions on an existing single-family dwelling. It's an undersized lot that was created in 1909, so as you can imagine, it is non-conforming in the lot area and the lot frontage. We're here tonight for these additions. There's a provision within the zoning bylaw. In this residential compatibility district, there's only a maximum of 15% of coverage But there's a provision within the bylaw, 410.4, which allows a slight increase in that.
The 3% rule,
The
so-called?
3% rule, exactly.
Thank you
And
for
this
doing the math.
proposal fits well within that. There's an existing attached shed off to the left of the dwelling that they plan to remove and install a new two-story porch. And then to the rear, there's a attached deck that they're going to remove and include a three-season room. The additions are both within the allowable setbacks, so the setback is 15 feet minimum, and both these additions fit within it. And we kindly ask for approval based on the fact that that these coverages are allowable under the special permit.
God, they actually did the
The
calculations.
math, I
This is
said,
like-
thank you for doing the math. I
Yeah.
love that.
And Jim checked it, I bet.
I did, yeah, sir.
It's refreshing to have such a competent presentation.
Thank you. Board members, any questions?
I have none.
I'd like to make one comment.
Sure.
We require property line setbacks for a reason,
Yeah.
and they meet those requirements. That's all.
Are you saying can they?
No,
Sure.
and they do
They
meet
do.
the requirements.
I'm sorry, Dan.
I just have one comment on the setbacks, if I can. It's immaterial and doesn't really affect this in any way.
It's middle of the road.
Just exactly. You saw it, right?
Yep, doesn't affect this application.
It doesn't.
45 feet from center line if it's less than 40 feet.
Yeah, right.
They show 25-foot minimum on there, but just for the record, it doesn't affect this. but
Yep,
that's
for your next one.
I understand what you're saying.
The requirement is 45 feet from center line of the road if the road's less than 40 feet wide.
Okay.
So, is anyone here who would like to speak to this application?
Hi, I'm Dave Cooley. I just want to be here if you had any questions.
Oh, okay, but you don't have anything to add, is that,
Well,
if you do, you need to go up to the,
Yeah.
sorry.
Dave Cooley, 8 Mayflower Road. I just want to add that that plan in front of you is our fourth plan, and each one we scaled down. We could have gone for a two-story addition off the back, but then when we looked at it, it just didn't look right.
Yep.
So we already reduced everything by 37%. It's really, there's no impact on anybody. And I don't know why anybody would have an issue with it. One addition is literally 5 foot by 12, and the other addition is 9 foot by 11 foot 5, one story. One of them is for a bathroom, and one of them is for a screen porch. And I think it's a really reasonable request.
Phil, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. I thought I did, but I just answered it for myself. I just hadn't reviewed the plan carefully
Do you
enough.
want this one, Phil? It's a little bigger.
No, that's fine. I was questioning whether the, one of the additions was two-story, and now I do see it, that the small addition at the back left corner of the house is a two-story, 5 by 12 approximately.
Does
Addition.
that particular addition go any higher than the rest of the house?
No, as a matter of fact, if you go to the elevations, we match the roofs
Oh, yeah,
from the other side.
yeah.
So this roof is the same as on the other side of my house, so it's symmetrical.
Okay,
So
and that addition on the right-hand view,
this
that,
one here, we're gonna, that's what the design review that was talking about. This doesn't depict the roof. The roof is gonna be like the other side. It's very shallow right here.
okay, be another gable?
It's like a hip. So
Okay.
it's low,
Oh.
very low hip. So it doesn't go, as a matter of fact, it doesn't go above any of the existing roof lines at all. It's very shallow.
So if you were to draw that on this view over here, what would it look like?
It would look like this. This is existing,
Yeah?
right here. This is the proposed screen porch.
No, but I mean, let's just say, we're talking about the two-story bathroom addition.
This pitch right here
Yeah,
would be,
what you're doing on
On
that
the top
part.
of there.
Okay.
yeah, it's a rise of, I think, 4 feet,
Yeah.
so it's all down low.
Okay.
Does anyone have any, for the public, any questions or comments? I think maybe we have someone online who wants to speak. I don't know if she understands the raise hand feature.
I don't know, but she's not. Do you want me to hit allow to talk? so
Maybe we should ask her, does she want to address the board?
She is saying, please ask Patty to allow me to speak. I have my hand raised.
Well, she doesn't, but,
I can hit
yeah.
allow. Okay. She has to unmute herself.
There she goes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. This is Maureen Caruso with my husband Bill Caruso.
Yep.
Yes, we don't have that feature to raise our hand, so thank you for allowing us to speak. We have some concerns. I mean, first and foremost, we have this increasing nonconformity going on, and it is intrusive. Our neighbor has removed survey markers 3 different times, and we have to move that fence. So once I move our fence to the property line, his structure will in fact be right up abutting our fence.
I don't understand, Maureen. The site plan indicates that it's going to be, the addition's going to be 15 feet off of the lot line.
From where the fence is currently, or from the property line?
From the property line, it's
Property line.
from the
And
property
our
line.
fence- I'm sorry, pardon me?
It's proposed 15 feet from the property line, the addition, which is what
So
we
when I move that
require.
fence- So when I move the fence to the property line,
Yeah.
it's going to be all the more.
It's going to
Seem
be,
a lot different, because our fence goes quite a distance into that yard.
yes, we do see the fence on the site plan.
Right.
Can
But a
you-
site plan, in reality, when you go and you see this fence moved, and it will include the tree that's in Mr. Gooley's yard, that belongs to us, that we've paid to have trimmed up over time during storms, after storms, that's going to be a very different visual effect. And I am surprised that Patty didn't get other neighbors' mailing. She typed out mine or printed out mine twice, but the Cooks also had a problem with this and had opposed this, but their letter didn't get to you. And they're the other side of their butters as well.
Excuse me, Patty, can you zoom in on the proposed conditions, the right side of that page, maybe?
Yeah.
Whose fence is it, Maureen?
I'm sorry,
Whose fence
What
is
do you
it?
say?
Whose fence is it?
it's my fence,
Okay,
so he has a fence on our property in the back half of his yard. Our fence has to be moved over in a way that cuts very much and will make his yard look dramatically different. And when that building goes up, it's going to have a very different visual effect.
the plus sign up on the middle of the top. Yeah, I have one. I just want everybody else to see
Could
it.
we have that
Yeah,
one,
can we,
please?
yeah. Thank you, sorry.
You can have.
Just trying to make
Thank
sense
you.
out of this.
It's hard to see on that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I think I understand here. I mean, it says 15, the building is 15.8 feet from the property line.
Right.
Yeah. And the addition is not going to,
Proposed to 15.
it's going to,
Yes,
it's going to decrease the distance to the sideline from 15.8 to 15.
correct,
But 15 is allowable.
That's right.
correct.
Yeah.
It's a non-conforming lot, and this becomes a more increasingly non-conforming situation. And I'm just asking for the board to reconsider the scope of that addition, because I have to move that fence, and it's going to impact, it does impact the visual effects. This is a very tight neighborhood. It's one of the oldest neighborhoods, and it has only one way in and out. They are all dead ends. So this house is already very big for that lot. And it's intrusive. I mean, I feel like the ghoulies are right in our, bedrooms, for heaven's sakes there. So it's intrusive.
The next speaker.
Off the microphone, yes, sir.
Maureen does not live next to me. She lives about 5 houses away, so she's lying to you.
No, I occupy that house, and now I'm renting it to a woman, but that's none of your concern, Mr. Cooley. It's my home, and I've been there since 1978.
Mrs. Hennessy
yes.
lives there.
Okay. It's her, she's the legal owner of the abutting property. That's fine. So, I'm not seeing how this is substantially increasing the non-conforming nature of the existing structure. Door one, as I like to say. Door one, I don't see this as substantially increasing the non-conforming nature of the existing structure. Am I
don't
push back
either.
if you disagree.
I agree.
I agree with you.
So if it's not,
Those were my attorney's words today to me.
Okay.
At this, to please submit that to the board.
Okay.
Denise Chacoin, who did some work for that property 2 years ago to prevent acquisition of easement for Mr. Dooley, explained to me today that I should explain just that to you and the board, that this was an increasingly non-conforming situation. Mr. Dooley has had many additions in the history of at least 7, 8 permits over the years to add on, and I've never objected. I'm objecting now because it is constantly encroaching on our, yard, on our privacy.
so I appreciate that you sought legal advice. Ultimately, it's up to the board to determine whether in fact there's a substantial increase in the non-conforming nature of the structure. There are kind of 2 standards here we have to deal with. One is that, and the other is if it is a substantial increase, is there a substantially greater detriment to the neighborhood? But we can't seem to even get through the first door because we're not seeing that it's a substantial increase in the non-conforming nature of the structure. But if anybody on the board disagrees, I want you to push back, and otherwise, we move on here.
As I indicated earlier, it's meeting the property line setbacks of 15 feet. It's currently 15.8, and it's
Yep.
getting 0.8 feet closer, 10 inches closer to the property line. And unfortunately, we have approved a lot less palatable projects than this one,
We certainly have, I know,
especially out at the beach.
yeah.
My thought is that I do always take neighbors' opinions into consideration, but in a case like this, where, as Freeman says, they're decreasing the setback by 8 inches, but they're decreasing it to what is allowable
That's right.
under the bylaw. So I don't feel that we don't have any ability to say to the applicant that he can't do this because he meets the
Required
requirement.
setback.
meets the required setback. And I don't know if, if the design is appropriate to all neighbors or not, and quite frankly, that's none of my business. So this is Mr. Gooley's property. If it looks fine to me on paper, if it's not acceptable from a design standpoint to one of the neighbors, that's unfortunate, but that's not something that we can rule on.
I think, Maureen, the way it typically works is that if he had a small portion of his house that was only 5 feet off the property line, he could apply to us to extend that nonconformity and make a very large portion of it 5 feet off the lot line. And if you didn't like it, then we would be in your court probably. But where he meets the required setback,
Right. It does, I mean,
we can't say no. It wouldn't stand up in court or anything.
well, the rest of this.
And it wouldn't be the right thing to do, because he's allowed to do it.
Yep.
The zoning bylaw is very clear that he's allowed to build up to the 15-foot setback line.
All right, well, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Maureen. Does the board feel that you need any other information to act on this case?
I do not.
Because if not, we can take a vote to close the hearing.
I assume there's no other public comment, right?
I'm not seeing any other, is there any other public comment? Sorry. So I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye, Tanya.
Aye, Judy.
Aye, Phil.
Aye, Freeman.
I, Emmett.
Thank you. What is your preference on this project?
I think it's a thoughtful design and they meet the requirements, and I would vote for the special permit to be issued.
I agree.
Is that a second, Phil?
Is that a motion, Tanya?
No, just
No,
discussion.
I
Okay. It sounded like it.
Yeah, I didn't think that it was, but.
Did you say it's an awful design?
No, I said it was a thoughtful.
Oh, okay.
Thoughtful design.
You know, you get old and you just start not hearing things the way people intended them. Sorry, folks. Thank you for clarifying. I would entertain a motion to just approve this then, if anybody.
All right, I'll move to approve the special permit application as requested.
I'll
I will-
second.
You
I'll
beat me
second
to
it.
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye, Judy.
Aye, Tanya.
Aye, Phil.
Aye, Freeman.
You with us, Emmett?
Did Emmett go to bed already?
I approve as well.
Okay, thank you. So you have your special permit.
Thank you.
We will draft one and issue it, but the vote is in favor of your project, so,
Thank you very much.
all right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Application was well put together, thank you.
Yes, I was impressed
Thanks for
with
letting
that,
us
too.
borrow the board. All right, we have
We had a
minutes?
couple
We have
tonight that
minutes.
were just, knocking it out of the park, right?
Yeah. So we have some minutes here, one of which I can't sit on, so I'll take the ones that I can first. We have minutes from December 11th, and the people who can vote on this are me, Phil, Emmett, and Boris. December 11th minutes. Does anybody want to?
I think there was just one T that wasn't crossed on the middle of the page there.
I approve the meetings. I motion to approve the meetings.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye, Freeman.
Wait a minute, you can't vote on this.
Wasn't there?
No, December 11th, you're not on this. So it's Judy, it's me, Phil, Emmett, and Boris. So December 11th,
Aye, Phil.
aye, Judy.
I am
Okay, thank you. And then we have January 22nd, me, Phil, Emmett, and Freeman. So now you can,
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye, Judy?
Aye, Freeman.
Aye, Phil.
I haven't.
Excellent. And the last set of minutes I can't vote on because I wasn't here, but it is October 23rd, and the voting members would be Phil, Freeman, Tanya, and Boris.
I'll move to accept the minutes of October 23rd, 2025.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye, Tanya.
Aye, Phil.
Aye, Freeman.
And Boris? Okay. I think that's it.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, right? So
Hey,
moved.
one comment, anybody thinking about maybe starting these at 7 o'clock anytime soon? I've been saying it for like 4 years, but I don't know. 7 o'clock.
So I like 7 too, but I think it doesn't work for some folks.
I can do it.
Phil, is it a problem for you?
No, not a problem for me.
How about Wayne?
Boris can do it.
Why don't we go to 7 o'clock?
Do you suppose Wayne can't make 7?
I thought that was a restriction.
What was the restriction?
They have some much earlier meetings.
Who's that?
The pac-tv.
No, they'll do what we ask them.
Yeah, they have all different times. Some of them start earlier.
I mean, the select board starts at 6 sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
I would be fine with going to 7 o'clock. I mean,
We're the latest board to start.
yeah, let's go to 7 o'clock. So,
Emmett needs to go to bed.
yeah, well, Judy does too.
It was more of a challenge for me when my kids were younger and involved in school activities, but
They don't care about you now.
no, that ends in 2 weeks, so.
So we have a couple others that already went out. The
Okay.
next meeting,
Okay.
say 7:30.
That's fine.
So the next meeting has to be 7:30.
Okay, that's fine. And thereafter, I'd say let's just go to
Well, it
7
can be, it
o'clock.
can be amended.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
I
Well,
mean-
as we,
Yeah.
did we continue a public hearing specifically till 7:30 or not? We did not, right?
No.
No.
Okay, we just continued it to a date.
Just continue to it.
So we
No,
can-
it's brand new ones, yeah, it's brand new ones, so I can revise.
So we could go to,
those.
why don't we amend the agenda and go to 7 o'clock?
Well, they have to be in within 2 weeks. So can I revise it? within 2
Oh,
weeks?
that's right, she's got to
Oh, is it
advertise the
2
hearing
weeks?
notice.
It's two, they have to
Today is
have
2 weeks.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
so-
you're
The
right.
next meeting has to
It
be
doesn't
7:30.
have to
It
happen
does.
next week, but whenever we can.
Yeah.
When it's
Yeah.
easier.
Okay.
Yeah, because the public notice
Thereafter.
went out, that's the problem.
Thereafter.
Okay, so yeah, after June 1st,
Yeah.
or
So the June meetings.
Oh, I'm
start
sorry.
in June.
Oh, nope. I
7.
got you. I just rolled over my bag, so.
Okay.
All right, cool.
We have another meeting this month?
week
We
after
do.
next.
And
Much,
I will not be here for that meeting on the 28th.
is there much on it?
12, 13, 14.
I have a big
Another
public
Ocean
meeting in
Road.
Conway, New Hampshire that night.
The one with Jessica Williams, Ocean Road, 287 Marshall, and 286. I can't remember the other address.
Full docket.
I may not be able to attend that. I have
So-
a family commitment out of town that can't be.
Understood. Will you be here on the 28th? Will you be here on the 28th?
Yes.
Okay. Emmett, are you going to be here on the 28th? Is he gone? He's gone. We'll need to poll people.